Welcome, guys. Welcome to another episode of Random Sunset. I'm your host, Psych Dolo. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. That's what all of the other YouTubers do. But anyway, at your own leisure. Today, for this Random Sunset, I want to talk about racism. All right, I'm going to talk about racism. If you guys noticed any yellow stains, you probably didn't. I was saying, told on myself. This is an older shirt right here. But anyway, like I say, we ain't doing this for likes, and you know, I ain't trying to stunt. Anyway, back to the point. Yeah, we're here to talk about racism today, man. That's what we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about racism, race slash racism. All right, the different races and racism. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's get over into it. All right, racism. What is racism? Woo! Can blacks be racist? Can Asian people be racist? Can whites be racist? I mean, racism. All right. I'm convinced if you in a particular, if you have a certain power, right, resources, power to execute racism, then you can be racism. I mean, I believe prejudice exists. You can be prejudiced. You can be biased. You know what I mean? But to be racist, I mean, you got to have some muscle behind you. I mean, and when I say muscles, okay, let's talk about the obvious. I'm not in this video right here. I'm not finna be too PC, but I want y'all to understand enough. Meaning, whether you corporate America, whether you blue collar, whether you doggone, illiterate, whether you dropped out of high school. A lot of times I like to try to cater to people, and talk in a way that I know people will overstand slash understand, you know what I mean, depending on where you're from, you know what I mean. I like to say overstand. I don't think you should understand anyone, but y'all know what I mean. But anyway, yeah. I want to make it, I don't want to be too PC, not that I am with any of my other videos, but yeah. Racism, man. It's the obvious to know that the whites here in the United States of America, the corporation, the country, United States Republic, we know that the whites here, they've been racist for quite some time. Not all of them. Not all of them, all right? And I want to make that clear because, again, a lot of new school whites, meaning if you like born in 1990, a lot of them, they don't know what happened. They don't even care to know what happened. All they know is when they was born and in the position they are in life is doggone where they at. And a lot of them been mentally programmed to think that they're superior and they're the smart ones, they're the good looking ones, and and everybody have to come rely on them. They're dominant, in other words, and they don't know the past, they don't know the history, whereas it's been passed down from generation to generation with most blacks. All right, and for some of you guys that that have that next level of intelligence. When I say black, I'm referring to Africans. I'm referring to the original Hebrews. I'm referring to the indigenous, the originals. All right. When I say black, because see, that's another thing. Let me say this real quick. A lot of African men, they don't identify with being black, and it's not a diss. The thing is, a lot of them used to their ethnicity. You know what I'm saying? Their background, their nationality. You know what I'm saying? And meaning, if you from the Igbo tribe, then you Igbo. If you Nigerian, if you from Nigeria, then you Nigerian. You know what I mean? If you from Ghana, West Africa, then you Ghanaian. You know what I mean? And that's what they identify with, meaning their background. You know what I'm saying? The ethnic background. You know what I mean? But over here in America, we've been taught from whites. One minute we're Negro, one minute we're colored, one minute we're African American. And you probably say, well, why do y'all just go for any title that they give y'all? It goes way back to know that the whites, when they brought over slaves or when they made blacks into slaves, the POWs, prisoners of war, then a lot of them wasn't allowed to read. So they tried to dumb down as many as they can. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of blacks didn't recover. You know what I mean? Meaning they just went with status quo. They just followed along all of the whole entire way. You know what I'm saying? But again, man, a lot of racism that go on here in America. I think it's unconscious right now. When I say unconscious, meaning people do it and don't even realize they doing it. You know, make like for his racial comments, like let me say this real quick. I just heard it not too long ago. Like, you're not like the rest of them. You know what I mean? So in other words, I'm an exception. I'm not like the rest of them. What does that mean? I mean, it's one thing to say, you know, you got bad people and you got good people, and like, you know what, man? Hey, Sight Dolo, you're a good person. I'm glad you're not a bad person. Nah, you're not like the rest of them. The rest of them? Rest of who? You see what I'm saying? So that's like, that's what I mean by that unconscious bias, and you know, being unconscious and biased about, you know what I'm saying, what you know, your preference or what you choose, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, man, racism, man. Excuse me, but racism is the devil, man. Racism is the goddamn devil. When I say the devil, meaning if you ever heard someone of color, or carbonated or black, speak on blue-eyed devil, they're just angry about what they know whites did to their ancestors in the past that got us in the boat that we're in. Meaning, for whatever reason, you know, they feel, he or she feel like we can't get ahead due to doggone what happened to us in the past. A lot of us traumatized. A lot of us still, you know, have to face these challenges to this very day. Meaning, the way the system been set up. Meaning, you know, to neglect us, look over us, to go against us. Things are 10 times harder. I mean, you know, you can be white here in this country and get caught with marijuana. You can be black and get caught with marijuana, and it's two different consequences. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I meant earlier by, you know, I don't feel like blacks can be racist, meaning they don't even have the resources or the power to execute, meaning it's one thing to be prejudiced and sound like whites. And they have their reasons. It's not to justify, because I don't think any race should hate, meaning as humans, you know, we shouldn't hate on one another, but it's like that, you know what I'm saying. And with this whole racism, I just think we need to talk about it more. And when I say talk about it more, meaning like, I'll come to the conclusion where it's not gonna ever be forgotten. All right, it's not gonna ever be forgotten, meaning a lot of what you know, my ancestors had to deal with, just being darker. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, you know, babies fed to alligators, our women being raped, our men being raped, labor sun up to sundown, being dogged out, disrespected, not taught to read, to have a fair shot at life, and to be able to get ahead. I mean, we had to overcome a lot of obstacles. So to a lot of whites, or if you're white, or I'm sorry, European, Irish, Dutch, British, you know, whatever your you know, ethnic background, when it comes to, you know, being of European descendant, you know, a European descendant, then yeah, this is what a lot of blacks had to deal with over here in this country. Not to mention what happened in Australia with the Aborigines. You know what I mean? Like, they pretty much, I don't know which was worse, the natives over here in America, or what happened over in Australia. Meaning, the colonizers just going around colonizing and taking shit, lying, stealing, and cheating, and just a rampage, you know, on a rampage. And then, you know, what gets me is a lot of whites, when you talk to them about racism or black and white, they try to act like it don't exist. You know, and it's like, if you ever get a chance to talk with them, you know, because like I say, I'm not convinced that that's gonna. I mean, well, one by one, if we talked about it more, I believe people have a different outlook on the way they treat people and the way they do things. Me being that, and I can just sit here and talk about this for days. For the simple fact, growing up, I mean, look at a lot of the toys, man. I got a gang of sisters. All right, I grew up with a house full of women. A lot of their baby dolls was white. Now, if the tables were to turn, and whites had to grow up playing with black dolls, you get where I'm going. Meaning, it's one thing to say, you know what? No, we're not racist. No, we don't see it. We don't see skin color. That's a racist comment within itself, to say you don't see skin color. If you white and I'm this damn dark, how the fuck you don't see my skin color? You understand what I'm saying? So it's a lot of, that's what I mean by a lot of unconscious bias, you know, unconscious bias. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even realize they're doing it any fucking more. They've been getting away for so long. You know what I mean? But I think deep inside the majority of them know that, you know what, the tables are turning. Being that we was once the majority, America was in our favor, the way we did things and what we wanted done around here. And now things are turning because we're not the majority anymore. I mean, well, we are the majority, but it's only a short amount of time. If things continue going at this rate, that they won't be the majority. Okay, so a lot of what we face as the people, and like I say, the list goes on, man. I mean, even with the current situations, meaning we in 2020 this year alone. Do you know how many black men, black boys been killed by white police officers? That's not going on with the Asian people here in America. That's not going on with a lot of the white people here in America. So what's wrong with that picture? So we can keep pretending that it's not happening when we're not gonna let you forget. You know what I mean? Deep inside, like I say, the world is having a party on the blood of a forgotten people, and those ancestors lived through people like myself and others. And it's not gonna. This is not something that's gonna ever get wiped up under the table. And I know a lot of whites feel like, if the tables were to turn, maybe they're gonna do to us what we did to them. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but to make things equal, that's enough to doggone, make white America flip within itself just to make the playing fields equal. Because deep inside, I'm convinced a lot of knowledgeable whites know who we are, and they know the power that we possess as a people. Even when you look at, the history books, I mean, it's just a lot of questions I can ask and a lot of things that just flat out don't make sense. And I'm going to go over a few of them. Meaning, when I was growing up, and even now, I never understood if whites didn't really like black people the way they make it out to be. Why would they steal African art and take it to the British Museum or the museum out in where's that, London? Like, why are they stealing their art or what they deem to be valuable and taking it and keeping it in their possession? Why? Remember, you don't like them. If you don't like blacks, why were the white men raping the women? Okay? If there wasn't a such thing as racism, why was it as Christian black codes? What was those codes for? And these are the things I want people to go behind me and do their homework on, meaning the Christian black codes, white and black. You know what I mean? That's not an ethnicity. That's a label. That's a color. That's not who we are. But a lot of people in this country are, meaning I don't even know which to call them anymore, African American or black, because to be African American, I think I said this in one of my other videos, meaning if you were white and you were born in Africa and then you moved to America, does that make you African American? So you've been born in Africa, South Africa, and you moved to America and you lived here 10 years, or maybe 20 years. All right, you lived there, you was born there 20 years and you stayed here 20 years. Moving to America as a white European from Africa, does that make you African American? So that's a lie. That title is wrong. That don't fit us at all. And a lot of blacks don't get it. The black title don't fit us for the simple fact, I'm brown. I'm brown. Look at my skin color. I mean, if you really had to choose, like, look at this color right here on this table and look at my skin color. But I know what they mean, all right? So it's not a diss, but all of what I'm saying is it's not who I am, all right? To say, you know what, he's Moorish. He's Native American. Now, that's ethnicity, that's the nationality that I'm talking about, meaning being able to identify a people, you know what I mean? And we don't know from whence we came, so I'm convinced we're the lost tribe for the simple fact we've been robbed of our heritage, our God, our names, our dignity, and the list goes on, you know what I mean? But when it comes to racism, I just think President Trump was their last hope at, making America great again, because it wasn't great for us, it was great for them. I mean, when we had Black Wall Street and we can make things great, you seen what happened. The whites came and blew up Black Wall Street, okay? The blacks owned the grocery stores, the banks, they operated at school. I mean, they was functioning. I mean, if you never heard of Black Wall Street, go behind me, research it, check it out, and you'll learn a lot. Back in Tulsa, Oklahoma, blacks was thriving. And, finally got a chance to have a piece of the American pie. And the whites came and they ruined it and made us dependent on them. So it's some type of jealousy or hatred going on. And it's like, and I deal with a lot of whites, and in my profession. And like I say, when you talk to these whites, if you were to ask them, why did whites hate blacks or didn't like blacks, you'll find that they can't give you no legitimate answer. And it's like, and I'm convinced you got somebody in your family, if not you, because a lot of them go disguised. They hide, and then, they're not all of them, right? I want to be clear, not all of them, but a lot of them, they don't want to acknowledge the fact that my people did your people wrong, and I understand and overstand that it was a major setback, and what happened in 400 plus years would not turn around overnight for you guys. So anything I can do, be respectful, more respectful, be open-minded about what happened to your people, then now would be the time, for us to make a better world, in doing so. But when it comes to other races, they can be hateful, but like I say, that's when it comes to racism. I mean, being here in this country, and yeah, forgive me for being all over the place as I am in most of my videos, but I just want to talk about enough to get you guys going and to keep it brewing. Meaning, these are some things to research. If you don't agree with a lot of what I'm saying, go behind me and try to research it. Research it to the best of your ability. You know what I mean? But it's definitely something we as the people have to address, and not convinced that blacks are gonna let it go when they come in, when it comes to. I mean, I talked about the baby dolls. Okay, that's one thing. Growing up as a boy, what about the superheroes? Why are all of the superheroes white? I mean, what agenda, what message are these guys conveying? When you study religion and you look at Jesus, meaning Christianity is like it trumps, every other religion in this nation. Meaning the majority of the people in America are, represent or claim Christianity. Why is Jesus white? And then the first thing people say, well, Jesus, color don't matter. Jesus don't have no color. So why is he white? So these are the things you have to ask yourself. If you haven't asked yourself, if you haven't researched, these are the things you have to research and ask yourself. Meaning, how did this happen? Why all of the characters that they show you in the Christian Bible are white? So somebody trying to exhibit some type of dominance and be looked at as the savior. When you look at a lot of these missionaries that go out to preach the word to try to convert people over into Christianity, I mean, a lot of them are white. And they go to these, these poor sides of towns and poor countries, and they try to convert people, and, it's just so coincident they come during the depressed, these depressed stages. And when people are depressed and oppressed, they come and then they have a solution. Hey, follow Jesus, and then this Jesus just happened to be white. So look at back in the slavery days, and when they had the blacks to go out to the outhouse to because you had to give them something. If you stripped them of their original God, you had to give them something to believe in to keep the morale going and the momentum going. So then they teach those three things from the Bible: obey the master, turn the other cheek, and one day salvation will come. And that right there alone kept the people passive, okay? It kept them passive. And then when they look up to the Jesus, the majority of the pictures you see of Jesus, what color is he? But if color don't damn matter, then why are they portraying him to be white along with the other biblical characters when we know they was out in what they call the Middle East? What they call the Middle East, that's Africa. Ain't no such thing, ain't no continent called the Middle East. That's Africa. That was originally Africa. Them people ain't Asian. And they try to make them part of the Asian continent. Bethlehem, that's Africa. That's right above. That's right there next to Kemet. That many of you know it's Egypt. It's right next door. That ain't Asia. That ain't Europe. That's Africa. And they call it the Middle East. So it's a lot of brainwashing. It's a lot of nonsense going on, So, like I say, I would want more people to do research and ask questions. And these are dialogues we need to have more often because, 9/11 is a day to remember. But then they want us to forget about slavery and all of what they've done, meaning this damn free labor. Somebody benefited from the labor off the backs of these slaves. And like I said, the world is having a party on the blood of a forgotten people. And with that being said, who are the people, what are the corporations that benefit from slavery? All that slave labor, picking cotton, doing this, that, and the third, working the fields, somebody benefited and got ahead. And now the finger getting pointed at, oh, look at them, look at where they stay at. Look, they low lives. They ain't got nothing going for themselves, Oh, they fit the stereotype that we gave them. Now we been made fun of and being picked at, meaning, we dumb down and stupid. You know what I mean? When in actuality, you bamboozled the people. And it has to be addressed. It has to be addressed. You know what I mean? So the message that I'm conveying is not for blacks to feel the same way as whites and say, you know what, let me do to y'all what y'all did to us. That's not the message I'm conveying. I'm not, and I don't hate white people. I just think we need to have these talks more often because if it'll change your heart to say, you know what, I know what happened to your people. We were wrong. Excuse me. But definitely, they acknowledge that, we benefited. I mean, for quite some time, blacks been looking for blacks been looking for that compensation, that compensation, the case of reparation, you know what I mean? So, yes, we had an opportunity to learn to read and to educate ourselves, and I hope many take advantage of that opportunity to do so, to have that peace of mind and that freedom as well as liberties. It's a difference. But to have them freedoms and them and those liberties, you know what I mean, through knowledge, all right? Acquiring the right knowledge, just as the book of Hosea chapter 4 verse 6 mentioned. My people suffer from lack of knowledge. But to be in a place where you could obtain a certain amount of knowledge will be your key to freedom and those liberties. Not to say that those obstacles won't be in your way and there won't be hateful people in the way, because they're there. I deal with it regularly. They're there. Let me bring this up real quick. This is some recent hatred that goes on over here in the United States. I'm over here in the state of Georgia, but Kendrick Johnson, all right? Kendrick Johnson. Look up the Kendrick Johnson case that happened in Valdosta, Georgia. All right, Valdosta, Georgia. I think it's Valdosta, Valdosta, Georgia. Okay, look up that case that happened with Kendrick Johnson and look at all of those institutions that were involved. And so when I speak on racism, you have to have that type of power to be able to manipulate and have all of those institutions involved, meaning the school, the FBI, the coroners, the ambulance. They have all of those different entities, institutions involved in you being able to do what you want to do and get away with it. So like I say, racism exists. It's the devil. It's only a certain group of people running around with that doggone power, and it is the colonizer. And if you think that's wrong and you look like the colonizer, then try to make it right. That's the message I'm conveying. All right. So if it's not about black and white and it's about doing right in your heart, then that's all I would ask anyone to do that watch this film. Do what's right in your heart. Wrong is wrong. Hate is hate. And learn how to love. All right. Love is powerful. Learn how to love. It's a higher frequency. And like I say, I won't be no stranger, and we'll talk more on this particular subject in the future. Thanks for your time. If you took the time to watch Weekend Meet, enjoy a drink, and talk about what's on my mind, and try and get results and make a better world. And like I say, we can talk about this for days, for hours. And again, go behind me, do your research. Each one teach one, two teach four, four teach more. That's my time. I'm your host, Dolo, over and out.